Okay, so I said we're going to do this lesson in two parts, so now we're going to do the second part. And these two are the housekeeping and deleting challenges. So the first one I want to go over is the housekeeping challenges. I'm going to want to make sure we have these here so that our app is working and I'm kind of really well, and I'm showing you all these other additional features. So we probably have some minor behaviors in our apps. For example, when you click the clear button, it only really resets the view layer. It only allows us to not see anything here. So what we want to do is we want to be able to clear the data and then show the data that it will show nothing. We want to be able to, in the add button, also add and record if the amount texts are blank, and then change the average display. So I'm going to help you work through how to fix some of these housekeeping things. Oh, disappeared on me. There we go. So let's get into our blocks, and let's first go over to the clear button. So far, this is the stuff that we had in the clear button. But remember, we dealt with creating a global entry months, amounts, and displays. So what we want to do is we want to be able to clear those as well. Basically, take the lists that are created and remove all the indexes that we've created so far. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we're going to set these to be cleared. So I want to set entry amounts. And again, entry months. We want to do them in the order that we have. Then it's the amounts. And then we also want to get rid of the display list. So make that list actually go away. So what do we want it to do? We want it to be able to go back to an empty list. So let's clear an empty list here. Clear an empty list here. Clear an empty list here. So right now, if I was to go to the tablet and I could do show data, everything shows up here. If I click clear data, it will clear it and then it will go away. Well, now when I try to click the show data, everything's gone. We get a little warning that says, hey, you're trying to divide 0 by 0. You may know there's only one person in the world that can actually divide 0 by 0, and that's Chuck Norris. But beyond that, you'll see here, nothing's there anymore. So now we've set it so that when we clear, it gets rid of all that stuff that we originally had. So now we don't have to worry about seeing that. So that takes care of one of the housekeeping things we had to do. The other one was looking at the add button. So I'm going to scroll this down a little bit so we got a little more space. In the add button, what we also want to do with this stuff is this is one situation, okay? The other thing that we also said is that the add button also adds and records information. So let's say if we were to enter the amount in the text box to equal nothing, what's going to happen? Well, if nothing is put in there, we want to give some sort of alert that, hey, nothing is put into your text box. And then if nothing is put into the text box, it'll give us an alert. Otherwise, it will show this. It's a little bit of a housekeeping thing that isn't too big of a deal, but we're going to set it up anyways. So all these things that we have in here, these are the else statement. So if someone puts something in the box like we want them to, if they actually type something in there, it's going to do what we've already created it to do. But what if someone forgot to put something in there? Because that's going to happen. We have to give people an alert that, hey, you didn't do what you're supposed to. So we're going to say if something doesn't equal having some sort of value. So if it equals this amount of information shared, which you can see is nothing, we have to go to the amount text. And remember, we're going to take the amount text, but it's got to be the one that fits in there properly, which is this one. If it equals nothing, we're going to give it a notifier. So we're going to go to the notifier and we're going to send out another alert. So show an alert. So it's a little bitty housekeeping thing, but it's going to make sure that if someone didn't put something in there, we're going to say, hello, did you forget to enter a number in the box? Okay. So now if we go back to here, we're going to say, okay, we put March and let's say we want to put 15 in there. Oh, we didn't put anything in there. So what does it say? It says, hello, did you forget to enter a number in the box? Well, of course, because if we go to the show data, there's nothing there. So now it's clearing everything. Now it's showing us a couple little alerts. Okay, one other thing that's kind of small, but we're going to go over now to the procedure of the average. We need to make sure that that we add an if, else, then statement in the average as well that will check whether the list is empty. So you know how we keep getting this alert here that says you can't do 0 divided by 0? Well, let's fix that by adding in an if-then-else statement in our program. So I'm going to go up to logic. I'm going to grab an if-then-else. And this setting the global stuff, this is good. This is what we wanted to do. It's still in the else statement. Okay? But we have to first ask, is there anything in the list? So what if is the empty list is the first question we ask. So is the list empty? Now what list are we getting from? Remember, that's going to be the entry amounts. So is the entry amounts list empty? Now if that's the case, there needs to be another notifier. We need to send out an alert. If we're putting in this notifier, let's put out some alerts for people. Oops. We'll have to reset to make sure it's all working properly before we're done with this video. So it says call notifier. So what alert do we want it to have? Well, remember, we're trying to say we're checking whether there's an empty list. So we're going to put in here is the list is currently empty. Let's put that. So if there's an empty list, we're going to say the list is, let's capitalize it. The list is currently empty. So when someone's trying to look for information there and they realize it's not there, nothing's going to show up with the average. There's nothing that's being put there. So we just have a notifier now that encourages that. So before we go on and do the delete, let's just update our app so we can make sure all these things work. Oops. Let's connect our AI companion. So I'm grabbing my tablet. I am going to, not Alexa. I don't want Alexa to play. Alexa, go away. Okay. So we'll pull up our AI tablet, hit our QR code. Bing, bang, boom. Well, a little more bing and bang as it's taking a while. Okay, so let's say we go to add stuff and we go to show data. Right now it says the list is currently empty. Oh, there's nothing there. Well, let's make sure we added something. Oh, hello, did you forget to enter something in the box? Yes, we did. So now all our alerts are working. Now everything's looking peachy keen and we're feeling better about ourselves. At least we should. Okay, the other housekeeping challenge, or the other challenge you had, was the delete challenge. So we have to add a button on the app screen for the user to remove the selected row of data list view. Basically, what we're saying is when you see all these things here, what if we want to just click one and delete that one, and click another one and delete that one, and click another one and delete that one, just get rid of certain ones? We're going to try to put that in here now. And what else should the event handler do? Let's also add a code that makes sure that the items don't reappear if you accidentally show it again. So we're going to try to make sure we double check ourselves. So first thing we're going to do in the delete challenge is we're going to add the remove data button. And where are we going to put that? We have the show data button. Let's do the remove data button. As you can see, we have it created where? Nowhere. So let's go ahead and add that button to our program. So we have show data, clear data. Let's add another button here next to it that says remove data. Okay. It doesn't look exactly the same, but we can go into our properties here and see we want it enabled to bold. Make sure that's bold. We want 14. We have 14 as our information. Okay. So now it kind of looks the same, doesn't it? So our button looks good. Last thing I want to check, it has clear data and typeface is default. So is this. Okay. So now that we have the remove, oh, I completely forgot the other thing. We got to rename it. Remove data button. Okay. So now let's go ahead and set this remove data button so that it will remove the data as we put it in there. Now on our tablet, we should also see remove data has now shown up. So we'll go down here to remove data. And we're going to do a click. So what's going to happen here? Well, The directions were again that if we want to get rid of something, we want a selection to equal 0. Then what we want to do is we want to probably give an alert that says, please select an item for removal. So if there's nothing there, we're going to have to select an item for removal. If there's stuff there, then we have to make sure it removes items from the list. Okay, so let's drop an if then else statement. Drop that if then else. Boom. So remember, if the list data view is equal to 0, so let's grab an equal. If it's equal to 0, we need to have a notifier that says, there's nothing there. So let's put that in as 0. And we're going to go down to this list, our list view. And we're looking at the selection index. So as things are indexed. I think I just made up a word. Let's give a notifier. Again, we got this notifier. Let's use it. Show an alert. So let's have this alert say something that says, like, please select an item for removal. Okay. Let's say, please select an item for removal. Let's say, yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of this stuff if you'd like. Now, what is it that we're going to want to remove? If there's nothing, if there's something there, what is it we're removing? Well, we're going to remove the global list. So first, let's go and remove something. So we have all these boxes here. Let's find the one that says remove list item index. And remember, there's 3 things that we're removing. We're removing the total entry months, the amounts on average, and also the display that's going to be down there. So we're going to have to remove 3 things. So let's repeat these things. Okay. And first we're going to get, let's do the display list. Let's get rid of the display list first. So that's going to be the data list view that we're getting rid of. So we're getting it rid of out of the data list area. And we want to just take it out of the selection index. Okay. Well, every single one of these is going to come out of the selection index, but we're getting rid of all 3 things that are in the table. So let's get rid of those. And then these things are going to change. So we got the display list. Let's do entry months. Let's get rid of the entry months as well. And then we'd also want to get rid of, the amounts. So how many people were entered during that month. Now, when we get rid of those things, we're also going to, and let's just make sure the first part works. So if I go here and click remove data, there's nothing there. So it says, please select an item for removal. So let's go ahead and put in 67 patients came in January. Data was added successfully. In April, let's say 32 people came in. And let's say they looked at it and they also saw in October, they had a lot of people with the flu, 112 came in. So data was successfully added. If I say show data, we're going to see, let's turn this, that we had 200 some odd patients, and they're all listed here. Okay. If I click on these, nothing's happening right now, but we do want to remove these. So in the remove data button, we're also going to want to be able to, it says please select an item for removal. We also want to make sure that we call the sum. So as we're changing things, we're also calling the sum to be changed. So if we delete one, it's getting rid of just the ones that we added. And we also want to call the average to also be changed too. So for removing things, it's also going away. The last thing we have to do to make sure it actually disappears is we have to go back to data list, and we want to pull up all the elements that are there. Okay. And we're going to make sure that it removes the display that's actually shown. So let's have it get the display list to show. And now we can be able to clear things properly, remove data. Let's say October, 112, add, let's show it. We can also remove it by clicking on it now. So when we click on it and it removes the data, I go to show the data now, everything is completely empty. So now we have everything showing up properly. Oh, I clicked it one too many times. So let's show you now. October, 123, add it. Let's do November, 123 as well. And December would also be 123. So if you added those together, you would have 369. Show the data. We have 369 people there. And if we have certain ones that we have here, we can remove certain things. So I want to remove that one. Let's say I want to remove this one, and I just want to remove this one. Now we can see that it removes the list. Well, now we're trying to remove certain things we don't need anymore, so we clear it. Add. Hello, did you forget to move something? Show data. Well, it's an empty list. Clear data, and then remove data. Remove an item. Nothing's been put there. So now we have all our little housekeeping pieces done, which is great. Last thing you have to do on your own or with your partner, you both can work together on this. You now need to go into PLTW, and you're going to need to complete the conclusion questions. There are 4 conclusion questions, and they're all considered off looking at a requirement that may be given to you by a client. We're going to give you certain different scenarios about stuff, and then you got to answer the 4 questions. And that's it for this one. We'll be taking this lesson and adding to it in the next set of videos.